Hey, what's up, everybody? It's Steve with Wingnut Metal here. Just sitting at home. It's Friday evening. I got bored and I got an idea in my head, so I thought I'd make this little video and tell you a story that we went through a couple years ago at our private camp. Um, but as I sat down to make this video, I realized I'm wearing this hoodie and just wanted to plug my friends. This is the Nightmare Hayrides in Ellicottville, New York. I work there when they're open, when it's not COVID-19, and it's really fun. I like to scare people. I love the reactions, and it's really an awesome place to go. So if you're ever around, look them up and go. So this story is of my family. We bought a private camp a couple years ago at a tax auction, and it's just a little tiny piece of land. It's up in the woods, but there's a house right across the road, and there's a couple of houses up and down the road, but pretty much it's just like almost a half an acre of land in the woods with a dirt road that goes by, and there's a lake behind us. We call it the swamp, but it's pretty much a lake. So this occurrence occurred about, I think it was 2 summers ago, maybe 3. It must have been 3 because we didn't have our camper out there then. But anyway, my fiance Samantha had to work, but I really wanted to go camping and take all the kids, and we have 5 kids. If any of you watched my videos before, I told you about them a little bit, not too much. And I have a 3-year-old. At that time he was really little, but now they're 3, 5, 7, 17, and 19. And I wanted to go camping, so I took all the kids out there, and we had tents. And yeah, it had to have been like 3 years ago, because we didn't have the good tent that we have now. We had crappy tents, and we were all trying to get them to work. Anyways, so we go out there, we take all our supplies, we start setting up in the daytime. I had a little generator at the time, and we ran the generator when it started getting dark. And later on, at a different time when we were out there, just as a side note, that generator caught on fire. I'll tell you that story another time. But so we got everything set up, and the night keeps getting farther and farther into the night, and it starts getting dark. The little ones went to bed, and my oldest 2 and I were still awake, and we're kind of sitting around the campfire, and we each had a flashlight, and mine is kind of like a gun with it's like a spotlight, but it's rechargeable, and it's pretty bright. So I'm sitting there, and like to my left is the dirt road, and it's like 150 feet to my left, and to my right is the lake, and it's about I'd say probably about 50 feet from where I was sitting, maybe 50, 75 feet, something like that. And right along the lake, there's an obvious trail that the animals walk through to get place to place, or stop and get a drink of water at the lake or whatever. But we're sitting there, and we had our dog with us. Her name is Lily, and she's Nikita. She kind of sat up and perked up, and her ears went up, and she's looking, and the same thing caught my eye, and I was looking that same direction. And what I saw, really, it's hard to describe, because it was nothing that I ever saw before, and I'm not some big supernatural nut or aliens or Bigfoot or anything. I think it would be cool if Bigfoot existed, but and it's fun to think about that kind of stuff to me. But I'm not like a big believer in all that. I'm not crazy, as you probably would label me if I was. Anyways, so we're sitting there, and this thing moves, and it catches my eye and the dog's eye, and I turn on my spotlight and I shined it on it, and it was kind of to my right front, and it was walking along that trail that the animals walk along. Of course, this is some kind of an animal, but it walked behind where the camper is now, which is where the tents were, so it kind of was obscured from our view for a minute, and then it came out from behind there. And as it did, I kind of turned and followed it like this with the flashlight, and then it stopped, and it kind of perked up a little, and it looked right at me, and its eyes were glowing. And my dog, if something's around that is not normally there and she's not used to, she barks at it. She did not bark at this thing, and it was standing there looking at me, and I held the spotlight right on it, and it just kind of slumped back down and turned its head back straight and kept on walking, and I followed it as far as I could see it with my flashlight, and then it was gone. We never saw it again so far. But to describe it, it was like shaped like a cat, but had the head and snout of a dog, and it was fairly long, pointy snout, kind of like a greyhound. But the body of it was like a cat, but it was bigger than most dogs, and definitely bigger than any mountain lion or bobcat or anything that could have been up there. But it was, and its tail was really long, but it was really bushy, and the hair on its tail kind of hung down, and it wasn't the typical dog or cat tail. And the hair on it, on the main body of it, was fairly short, but it wasn't really short. Hard to describe. So it looked like a cat's body with a dog's head and a really long bushy tail. And it was kind of good size. It was probably close to the size of me or bigger if it stood up on its hind legs. So we were kind of freaked out, and I was, the rest of the night I'm pointing my flashlight all different directions and looking for stuff, and nothing ever came from it again. So far we haven't seen it or anything else, except for the next day we woke up and I got up to make coffee, and there was a deer standing about 20 feet away from me, staring right at me, and I just stopped and was looking at it, and it snorted at me and just took off running. I never even moved or nothing. So that's just a quick story that I felt like I should tell. Hope you all liked it. See you next time.